Hello, 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 everyone. All right, let me get Krista on here. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Tiara, Byron, I see you, I see you. Hello, hello. Hey, Krista.
Hi, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you. Hi, Marjorie. I see you, I see you. I'm loving the look.
What, my look?
Yes, your look.
Oh, thank
You're the only
you.
person on this. Yes, yes.
It's really true. See, I told you I'll be the lost graduate student who's like, wait, me? What do we have to do next? I don't know.
We have a lot of people coming in right now.
It's awesome.
Yes. So will this be recorded? Yes. So our goal is to make sure that this saves so you guys can watch back and take notes if you need to. So yes, it will be recorded.
Oh,
Hi,
hey, Carlita.
Carlita. Awesome. Awesome. Wait a few more minutes before we get our guest on here. But we wanted to say welcome to Grad Night Q&A for the grad students. I know we have some early career school psychs and some legends in the audience, but tonight it's all about aspiring grad students to go into the school psych field and also current practicing grad students. Okay.
Okay. HU in the building. Okay. Hello, Dr. McClure. I think we're getting some compliments on us.
I know,
today.
right? You guys are making me blush.
Right. I love that. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, while you are here, please be sure to follow the Black SPS right now. And also, this was going to be an amazing live. So if you know someone who can benefit from this, go ahead and share this live with them right now because it's about to be lit tonight. Thank you. The comments, you guys are making us blush tonight. Like, I'm just going to be smiling like all night because of these comments. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and invite our guest on here. But before we do that, did you want to do the introduction now, Krista, or just wait till everybody gets on?
What you think?
I don't know.
We can introduce ourselves now. Some of you all know us.
Yes.
But just as us reintroducing ourselves for those who might not know. So I am Krista Edwards. I am the Director of Programming and Community Outreach for the Black School Psychologists Network. I'm also a PhD candidate in school psychology.
All right. So I am Dr. Aileen Milford. I am the Director of Marketing for BSPN. I'm also a recent grad, just recently finished internship, and I'm heading to postdoc residency this fall. So we are here tonight to just answer a lot of these awesome questions. So I'm excited. Krista, are you ready to get our guests in tonight?
Yeah, let's get it going.
All right. Let's do this.
Hey, Nick.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
What's
Hi,
going
Nick.
on? Hi, how you doing?
Good. We are waiting for one more guest. Yes, Black excellence on this live tonight.
Yes.
The energy and the speed is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, y'all, you ladies look great. I love the outfits. You look great.
You know what? I needed that today.
I know. Listen, y'all just
right. Aileen's got the fedora on.
right.
I know, right?
You will always catch me with fedora, like at least once a week.
Love it.
I love it.
All right. So Nick, while we're waiting for our other guest to come in, why don't you go ahead and start introducing yourself?
Okay. Yeah. My name is Nicholas Shannon. I'm a first year graduate student at University of Laverne here in California. I just finished my first my first semester in graduate school with a 4.0 So I have to slide it in there. But yeah, no, I'm super passionate about the field. I'm loving every minute of it, and yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. And look, our other guest is here.
Hey,
Good
Hi,
afternoon.
Deshauna.
Can you hear us okay, Deshauna?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
yeah,
Good afternoon. Good
Yes, now we
afternoon.
can hear you. Awesome.
How
So
are
Nick,
you?
Deshauna, can you hear us? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Nick just went ahead and introduced himself, telling us that he has that 4.0 GPA, and so you can go ahead and
I have to say
introduce
it.
yourself for us.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Deshauna Lane. I am here representing the best. I am one of the co-founders and also the vice president. Currently, I'm a practicing school psychologist in Orlando, Florida, and a proud graduate of Howard University.
Okay, Howard in the building. All right, y'all. So we are just going to dive in because we have a lot of amazing questions that were submitted for this live. So I'll just go ahead and read the questions, and then I'll let um, you know, the specific person who's supposed to answer that question, but we can all chime in as well. Okay. So the first question is for my man, Nick. So the question is, I am starting my first semester of grad school this fall. Any advice?
Any advice? First of all, it's a great question. Someone who just, like I said earlier, I just finished my first semester. I would say for me, for any advice, I would say to know your why, know why you want to be in the field, why you want to be in graduate school, right? For me, there have been a few times, and Dr. McClure can attest to this. I've hit him up and been like, "Hey, I'm struggling right now," and going back to my why I want to be in this field, why I want to add to school psychology is super important. Also, ask questions when ask as many questions as you possibly can. I think it's super important to even if you think they're dumb questions or the questions you think that during it that you should know. I think just asking as many questions as possible and giving yourself that grace is a really key important thing to remember, and also networking, right? So having a network of other school psychs that you can reach out to, like for me, Dr. Barrett, you ladies, something like BSBN, to have a network where you can ask questions, getting into the field, and then lastly, just have fun. I think we're so focused on academics, and we're so focused on getting good grades and knowing the material as we should. I think also though having that self care, knowing what self care means, what it means to you, and having fun with your program, having fun with it, I think is super important. So yeah,
Yes, I love all that you said. And you said something so powerful. You said knowing your why. That is so important going into grad school, because you're going to have those rough moments, right? We can all attest to that. Those rough moments will come. So definitely, I love how you said knowing your why. Anybody else wanted to add to
thank you.
that?
The only other thing that I would add, because Nick made some excellent points, is learn time management, because it doesn't get easier. Like the first semester, it takes some adjustment. And so
Yeah,
understanding best for you, being proactive, reading those chapters and staying ahead of the game, because it's easy, you miss one reading and then you're behind. But you want
yeah,
to, you have the information, you're able to come to class with questions, you're able to come to class, participate. Again, like you paying, lots of money to be in these programs, and make sure you take advantage of it while you're there.
Love it, love it, love it. And we have some questions that are in a chat coming in too as well. So we're going to cover the questions that we receive beforehand, and then we will answer those questions in the comment section, because a lot of the questions that are in the comment sections are the questions we received before. So great, I love it. Thank you, Deshauna, for adding to that. The next question, I think a lot of us can really attest to this too, is how do I overcome the anxiety of assessments?
mm,
Mm.
Mm.
mm,
Exactly, right? Whew. assessments, because that's a part of our job is the assessment piece. So Deshaun, you want to take that and I could join in after that?
Absolutely. So practice. I practice on friends. I practice on my young siblings. I mean, you get better with time. One of my supervisors in practicum taught me, she's like, Deshauna, the only way you learn how to do these assessments is with the children. They don't know what you can and cannot do. And so I pull a student and I'm like, hey, we're going to, do some activities. This is my first time trying this. And, you make it fun. If you make a mistake, oh, God, let me, go back to another page. I skipped the page. They don't know. They're just happy to pull out class. They're happy to be with you. And so you learn how to overcome that anxiety by, and then by knowing that you are capable, you are competent, understanding that, it takes time for even the most advanced, school sites to get more, proficient with testing. But knowing that, when you give one test, a lot of times, you start to understand like the protocol and the routines of giving assessment.
Definitely. I love that. And just to add to that too is just being on internship, it also depends on the type of internship experience you'll receive. So I was at an internship site that was heavy on assessments. So I did a lot of that. So you'll really see once you go on internship that you really know more than you think. But just like Deshauna said, it's really what I did also in addition to practicing with children is I read the manuals. I had access to the manuals, so I will read those manuals. And also in addition to the children, some of the classes that I had required us to test someone that we kind of knew to kind of just have that comfortability. So not only did I do children, but I did adults as well. So definitely read those manuals, y'all.
I'm taking notes. Absolutely.
Read those manuals. Yes.
That's a t-shirt for sure.
Right.
See, I'll add that I was not the manual reader per se. I mean, I did read it, but I found that actually practicing in person really, really was so beneficial because I would read and then when you get to it, you're like, oh, where am I supposed to start? Like you get your rhythm when you've done it in person and you have your hands on a book and you know where to turn and you know where to place your manual, your test materials, what have you. And one thing that I will add is my supervisor told me that the end of the world only happens once. So if you do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You can most likely fix it. There's lean on your supervisor, of course. And I think that was the biggest advice that I had ever really gotten. And I apply that to everything now, and it's brought down a lot of anxiety for me.
Yes. Also with that is not knowing how to administer the assessments, but if you need to, in the beginning especially, have someone double check your work, right? You want to make sure when you are doing on those protocols, making sure you do that. I see in the comment section, put some sticky notes in your protocol. Don't be afraid to write notes and highlight for reminders to yourself. That is great advice. Thank you for that. Yes. All right. Y'all ready for the next question?
Do it.
Yes. Well, I need to see in the audience. Are you guys ready for the next question? I need to see some hearts, some comments in the comment section. I need to know that y'all here with us.
Right.
Y'all ready for the next question?
Where the hearts at? Can y'all light it up with hearts or something? Light it up with some fire. Look, light it up with the little note-taking emoji.
Right. Y'all ready? Yes. School Psychologists said they are ready for the next question.
Okay.
All right. The next question is, what are some tips for recent grads who are PhD level SPs and want clinical licensure? Amazing question. This can also apply to our PsyD level SPs as well. So with that, because I'm actually in that process now, so finishing up internship. So right now I'm actually going to be doing postdoc in private practice. So I'm going a little non-traditional, y'all, right now. So internship was in the schools, but postdoc will be in private practice. So in addition to that, prepping for that requires you to, figuring out what setting and where you want to practice, right? And begin looking at the specific state's licensure requirements because every state is different. Right. And so knowing that if that's the setting you want to go into, you start not only networking, but also, you know, licensure. If you want to go to private practice or want to become licensed in general, you have to take that test, that EPPP, right? So EPPP is basically the board exam for psychologists to really be licensed to practice. So in addition to the schools, they have the licensure, but to be licensed, you have to take that EPPP. So studying for that is, because that test is expensive, y'all. It's expensive, but you want to start studying as soon as possible. So again, it's really, really knowing where you want to go next, looking at your state requirements, studying. So currently some of the resources that I can give you is called AATBS. So prior to this live, I was actually here studying. So they have booklets, webinars, and all that good stuff. So AATBS is one. There's PrepJet. There's different ones. And again, having that support system too. Who do you know is actually taking the test, who's studying as well? You want to do that because not in just our field, but every field, you don't want to be on an island, right? You require people and that support. So really doing that. So while I'm taking studying for the EPPP, so postdoc requires additional hours needed post-internship and post-grad. So every state is different with the amount of hours. So I hope that was helpful for whoever asked that question. Okay. All right. The next question. And Krista is going to take the lead on this one. How do you navigate a racist environment?
Woo child. Okay.
That's an easy one. That's an easy one, right, Krista?
That's an easy one, of course.
Easy, very easy.
I mean, I feel like it's a very easy question to ask because a lot of us are either in the process, have gone through it, or are getting ready to go through navigating a racist environment. And that can like be very stressful on you as a graduate student, as a professional in general. And so some things that I have learned, I think the biggest thing that helped me get through it is finding my village. And so acknowledging who is there to support me, whether they are in my program or whether they're in the university or whether they are former mentors from prior universities that I've attended. So like I lean heavily into my village, especially one of my faculty members from Hampton University. I mean, we text like every week. I'm like, how do I navigate this? How do I navigate this? Because coming into graduate school, I did not know what was really happening to me. I didn't realize, these are microaggressions, or these people are really not here to support you. And so finding your village is really important. I also would like to say, like, push back on DEI initiatives that have sort of gotten placed on you as maybe the only Black person in the program or the only person of color, what have you. It's okay to have boundaries and say, I'm passionate about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but this is also something that you all need to work on, and I am glad to help you if you're willing to do that, but also it's okay for you to step away, because that is a part of like maintaining your mental health. I remember pushing for all of these initiatives, and that just drew me closer to burnout. And so I had to take a step back and realize, how can I still be impactful, but also take care of myself? And I think the last thing that I've kind of learned over time is just how we have these conversations about how to talk about race, how to talk to administration and teachers about teaching about race and racism. We need to really apply those same things to our peers, to people, our practicum supervisors, our fellow colleagues, our faculty members. Like, we're not just practicing those strategies in our work, but we need to bring them into like our immediate circle as well.
I love it. That was a great response. Just to add to that too, and everyone else can join in after that, is that when you have these experiences in the environment, grad school, the workplace, the microaggression, the microinvalidation, it can do something to your self-esteem. And I really want us all to remember, you belong in this field, you belong in that workplace, you belong in that program, because it's so easy for you to feel like you're not competent. It's so easy for you to feel like, man, like did I do something wrong? And you feel like you have to constantly prove yourself for a place that you were equipped to be in, right? And so that's what I kind of wanted to add into, in addition to what Krista said, because she provided a lot of valuable information, but really remembering you belong, you are worth being in this field.
Absolutely.
Anyone else want to add something to that?
Yeah, I'll add something really quickly. Thank you, ladies. And, kind of building up on, knowing that you belong and also having that confidence. You'll sit in meetings and you'll have, opinions, you'll have advocates and attorneys that are coming and they will, try to come for your credentials, they'll attack your report. And just know that you're doing the best work you're doing, work with integrity and, you're following all guidelines. So be okay with being in those meetings and standing firm with your decisions. You do it with grace. You make sure that, you keep it professional because they will, really tempt you. They will really have you boiling. But understand that you are very competent and you did, what protocol says to do. And so don't be afraid to sit there, stand your ground and, stand behind your work.
Indeed, indeed. Yes. So it always goes back to remembering that, knowing the information, right? Because they will try to make it seem like you don't know the information. So when you know your stuff, you're powerful, right? Knowledge is powerful. I love that. So before we move on to the next question, anyone else want to add to that? Because this is a very important question.
It is so important.
Yeah, I'll add in real quickly. Yeah, this question is something that I've been asking myself. I even asked the same question on a different kind of conversation with this school psychologist named Tiffany Lee and Dr. Barrett. My question was, how does someone who is very passionate about social justice and racial justice issues, who's going into a grad school program, how does that work? How does that fit? And Dr. Barrett said something to me that I thought was amazing. He told me to bring my experiences and my Blackness to the field. And I thought to the program, I thought that was really powerful because there's a lot of times where the microaggressions, right, where we're told to not necessarily express ourselves or not step on any toes. And I think it was really refreshing to see someone who's a school psychologist to say, no, like bring your experience to the field. The field is dying for diversity. The field's dying for equity. So bring your experiences, bring your Blackness, bring your brownness, right? Bring whatever that you have to offer to the field because the field will benefit more from that. And that was so powerful for me. That was so powerful to hear that. That's something that I keep telling myself. Living in California, there's a law here where we can't give an IQ test to black boys and girls, for Larry P. So there's just so much that goes into that question, and we can have a whole night on just that. But I'm really grateful for that question. I love it.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. Someone actually in the comment just actually wrote something, and we're going to address that now because it relates to this question. It says, could someone talk about being the only minority student in a program and how to build a village when there is no diversity or faculty that you identify with?
Yes.
Yes. So that is, go ahead, Krista, you wanted to say?
I was going to say, I just wanted to highlight what I was saying earlier is like, I had mentors and really influential people that were in my life prior to graduate school, and I still lean heavily on them.
Yes.
There are people that are outside of my program. Like I do a lot of work with our sister program, the counseling psychology program, which I have found faculty that I identify with that have proven to be supportive of me. I've done a lot of cross or interdisciplinary work with them. And so not being scared to step outside of your program. I also remember when I first got to my university, I went over to Black Studies and I was like, where y'all at? And I'm getting a Black Studies minor, and they have also been just very kind of wrapped their arms around me. So you do have to do a little legwork if you don't already have that village or that support system, but identify who those people are and see what, they can help you with. And if not, you find some other folks that can support you in the things that you do need, but don't be scared to ask.
Yes, yes. Definitely your village may be that support system outside of your program, right? So for me, I found a village of school psychs. I was like, there's a lot of Black school psychs. When I went to NAS pre-pandemic, when I went to the NAS African American subcommittee meeting, I was just in awe. And from there, I connected with a lot of SPs, and that really helped and gave me that push to continue the program, even though they were not present in my program.
Yep.
Awesome. So thank you for
Yeah,
asking the
I get
question.
speak to.
Yes. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I can speak to it too. No, I mean, I living where I live in California, there's been so many times, oftentimes, I'm the only black person in the room. I'm the only black person in the class. I'm the only black person. There's only like 3 or 4 of us in the school. So yeah, so that question is a great question for me. I think about a few years ago, I saw a picture at NAS it was at NAS. It was all of the black men that were at NAS, and they were like 20. And I remember thinking like, I want to be part of that group. And I remember reaching out to Dr. Barrett and Dr. Byron McClure and just black men outside of my state, right, of my city, and reaching out to them and asking them how they've done it. And it kind of like asking like, can we form like our own like Black School Psychologists network? And so having the BSBN is so vital and so important, y'all. It's so good to be with people who look like me, who've experienced some of the things that I've experienced, and maybe maybe not in the same state or same city as me, but we still have those connections. We still have those
Yes.
connections. So I love it. It's great.
Whew, I felt that response, the connections. Whew.
The connections. That's
Yes,
vital.
yes. This was a very passionate question. I love the responses that we're getting. And shout out to everybody in the comment section. Just the community. I feel it. Yes, yes. All
Yes,
right.
energy.
So we're gonna head on to the next question. Advice for the praxis.
Absolutely. And so again, I can't stress this enough that you know more than you think you know. And so you've been in the program, 3+ years, you know a lot. And so the first thing you want to do, you want to know what is going to be on the test. And so what I did, I took a lot of practice tests. I stayed on, the ETS website, and then looking at the different domains. I collected like notes from all of my courses, I did a lot of reading, but then you want to also assess what you know. So what subject areas, you're very proficient in, what subject areas that you may need a little bit more practice, that help guide like how you study. Months prior to the test, I set up a schedule. I'm like, every day I'm going to dedicate 2 hours, and stick with that because you want to start and be proactive about it. So you want to start studying, very early on. So a study plan and study during those hours of your optimal performance. And so for me, I'm a night owl, and so I may be up, 3, 4 in the morning studying. If you're an early person, you're early bird, you get up and you study during those times because you want to make sure that make sure that you are retaining the information. Practice like the key concepts again, understanding, what is the test going to be on, understanding, what areas to focus more on. And so I did from Amazon a little guidebook, and I used that book, read it in and out. It's a very quick, easy read. It was maybe about $20, and it covers a lot of like the general information that will be on the test. And then just understanding how the test is scored, understand, where your points are coming from and what points you need or what that you need for the state that you're going into. That may, in terms you may need to take the test early, so you have to retake the test. You have enough time, so you want to make sure you get that before internship, before you are going into, a job, making sure that the scores are making sure you take advantage of like your time and understanding when you perform best. And, study everything that you got.
Love it, love it. I think the resource, you said that it was a purple book. I think the resource you're talking about is the School Psychologist Guide for the Praxis Exam by Dr. Peter Thompson, because that's the book that I used, and that thing was helpful. And Deshauna said everything that any of us can say about advice for the practice. All right. So we have a couple more questions. Again, I'm going to ask the comment section to, fire it up a little bit. Are you guys ready for the next question? I need to see it. Are you guys ready for the
Are
next
y'all
question?
asleep? What's going on?
I think they sleeping, y'all. Like
I see some Titans and I see some folks though commenting. Dr. Barrett,
we got a
Dr.
lot of
Barrett?
legends in here.
we got a lot of legends.
legends.
Shout out to Dr. Barrett. She's coming in.
See,
I love
Dr.
it.
Malone was in here.
Dr.
Yes,
Bland.
Dr.
I see Dr.
Malone.
Bland. I see my cohort member Marissa. What's up, Marissa? It's good to see you.
Okay,
I see you.
Hey, Marissa.
Marissa, I see you.
All right, I see that they're ready. They're ready. All right, all right. So the next question, it says networking, getting connected with more Black individuals in the school psych field.
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
right, right. So of course we have BSPN, right? And we have DBESP. We're gonna have our representative, Deshauna, talk a little bit about that for us.
Absolutely. And Dr. Bear is asking y'all to call him Charles. He's just not like that, Dr. Bear.
Okay, my bad, Charles, my bad, my bad.
Nah,
But so I am here representing the best, so diversifying Black excellence school psychologists. I'm sorry, you guys may hear my dog whining. And our initiative is to kind of maintain and diversify the field of school psychology in terms of recruitment initiatives for students attending HBCU. And so we try to maximize that. And so we've borrowed a lot from the exposure program within high schools as well as college universities. And so we've done Texas Southern, we've done Bethune. And so making sure we get that word out about school psychology, who are school psychologists, and providing resources for those students. So once they are in the field, they are more than prepared. They also have access to that network. Because again, I think a lot of us, have that same common struggle with other Black school sites. But definitely, trying to diversify the field so that, we have that representation, because as we know in the field, we need people that students that look like us.
Love it, love it. Yes, yes. Carlita's saying connections are everything. Network, network, network. Yes, it's so important.
Can I just? I'm sorry, y'all. Can I just plug? I'm sorry, Charles. Can I plug your book for a second? Right here.
Yes.
Today in School Psychology. If you're looking at network, this book's amazing. That's volume 2. This is volume 1.
Okay, okay.
Love that one. And then my favorite, this is the one right here. It's always about the children.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great,
those are
great
some
read.
great resources.
Yes, great resources.
And I think that there are so many great things happening right now, especially with the legends that have placed some initiatives like Charles, like the Exposure Project, like D-Best. Is it D-Best? Did I say it right?
The best, yeah.
The best. Okay, yeah. Just like there are students out there that have not been reached. And so with this organization reaching people through the exact pipelines, going to HBCUs is amazing. And so through the Exposure Project as well, being able to increase those numbers of Black and Brown and non-white school psych graduate students, and hopefully diversifying the field in the long run is amazing.
Yes, yes. Dr. Malone mentioned the Black School Psych and School Psych Sisters are great virtual networking spaces. Yes, I had the School Psych Sisters I was about to mention next. They are, a amazing organization that really highlight women of color, and they have great mentoring programs, scholarships. They just gave out some amazing scholarships recently, and they're doing some great, great things. So again, that's the School Psych Sisters. And Twitter has an active Black SP community. They definitely do. Y'all, if you're not on Twitter, you are missing out.
Twitter is lit.
That is where they are at. And Facebook group, Black School Psychologists as well. For that, y'all, if y'all looking for folks, they are on Twitter. They are on the Facebook group.
Oh, and don't forget the healing.
They are everywhere, y'all.
Don't forget the healing.
Yes, they are everywhere.
The Healing Center Conversations podcast. Also.
Yes. Yes, Dr. McClure's podcast as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so the next question, tips for internship, please. Best way to balance internship, school, and family. Whew. Deshauna, you want to take that, or you want me to take that first?
Absolutely. So I did like the non-traditional route for my internship. I left DC and went to San Jose, California. And so Dr. Malone was like, they're going to get you out there and they're going to treat you like a school psych. They're going to call you an intern, but they're going to treat you like a school psych. And they did exactly that. Week 1, I shadowed my supervisor, and after that, I was on my and I had 2 elementary schools, and I was doing all the assessments and things, by myself, doing the assessments by myself and submitting reports once they were completed. And so I had to learn very early on, like, how do I balance this? Because a lot of my cohort, they were, you know, writing 2 or 3 reports a semester, and I'm here writing like 15. And so the thing is, like, that time management. Get as much as you can done, you know, when you're in school, take advantage of the time that you have there. So I would, you know, test students and try to, you know, score my protocols right away, you know, kind of get those findings and understand, you know, okay, what is the next step for the student? Meeting, you know, with individuals early, making sure that you, again, take advantage of your time, because what I saw is that I was writing reports on the weekend. And so I try to make sure that, you know, when I do everything that I can do there, because you don't want to be where, you know, you're writing reports when you get home, you're writing reports on the weekend because you're starting out. And you know, you make a lot of changes to your report. You're learning how, like, your style of report writing, but you also want to make sure that you're balancing, you know, friends and, you know, having, you know, a social life, because it's very important, and especially in this day and age, you want to make sure that you take care of, like, your mental health. And so what I would do is I would have set days where I didn't do anything related to school psych. And so for me, that was like my Saturday. I call it Sat Her Day. And so that's where, you know, I made, you know, watch TV. I made friends, or, you know, I made, you know, try to prioritize, like, getting back to the East Coast and seeing family and friends. School psychology, you know, you have to have that work life. You know, we all love what we do. We have to have a balance there.
Yes, I'm gonna say here when Deshauna said, you know, making sure that that time management, you will quickly learn that internship is not like grad school. So my first semester of internship, I was trying to pull all-nighters as far as, because I used to take work home, writing reports, right? I quickly learned that was not going to cut it as an intern, right? So I had to learn those boundaries, making sure I was better organized during the day, so I would have the ability to enjoy life outside of work, right? And I went to a internship site that was in a different state. So really knowing, like, before going, what is the community support going to be like within your internship? So I was thankful for having a cohort, right? And so they're very welcoming. My supervisors were supportive. So even, you know, during the time when you had your internship interviews, asking those questions of, like, what does support look like during my internship year, right? Because as Deshauna said, the other school personnel will not see you as an intern. They're like, oh, that's another school psychologist. We need help, you know, so knowing those information as well. The work-life balance too is, you know, getting to know your style, right? So some of my supervisors had a way of writing reports. Yes, they will sign off, but eventually you'll be able to take these things, but knowing, like, okay, this is how I write reports, knowing what they require, knowing the laws in those states that you're going to for internship, right? And really just, again, those boundaries, setting those boundaries, because you don't want to burn out before you actually get started in the field.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yep.
I think we might actually answered this question, the time management, school life balance tips already. But Nick, if you wanted to add to that, you can.
And no, I mean, you ladies covered it, most of it. A few things I would add though, is to invest in a planner. Like for me, I need a planner. There's a really good site at www.thesplanner, the school psychologist planner.com. Larisha, I think her name's Larisha Bailey. Yeah, they're like $30. It's a school psych planner just like for school psychs, which it's really good. It's really nice. I like it a lot. She has an Instagram too. And then lastly, I'll add, like for me, I have to set like specific timers for myself. Okay, all right, for 3 hours right now, this 3 hour chunk is school. I'm not, like, no interruptions, no football, nothing. It's about my work right now. Okay, these hours are for my family. I think like sitting down and like really being intentional about where your hours go are super important. And then also with the time management, school life balance, there has to be some sacrifice. You know, with me being in graduate school, there are things I miss out on. So like right now, my entire family, they were in Cancun. They're in Cancun having a family vacation, and I'm here. I'm here because I have summer school. I had class yesterday, and I'm paying too much money for grad school to miss class and to not be there. So I'm sacrificing, you know, because there will be other trips there will be other things, you know, that'll come up. So, yeah, so I think it's important to, yes, self-care, have some time for yourself. Absolutely, absolutely. But also know that, you know, is work. Is work, you know, and you want to be the best school psychologist you can be for our children, right? For our babies. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I add? I just wanted to add something really quickly. When I first started out, I met with the Black Studies department. Like I said, I was trying to find my village, and the chair of the Black Studies department sat me down and told me to write down everything that I have to do in a day and make a calendar for it.
Yeah.
And so what I didn't realize was I was like, I'm working over 40 hours a week as a grad student. Granted, I know my assistantships only amounted to like 20 hours, but as far as work goes, including those assistantships, it was over 40 hours a week. It is like working over a full-time job. And so that, I just say that to highlight the fact that Nick said really be intentional about it, because when I decided to actually just see how many hours in a day I was working, a lot of my time was taken up. So that meant I really did not have time to like really bullshit. You know, like my time was very valuable and I had to be intentional about it. I probably would have went to Cancun though, just because for me to have that,
Right.
for me
I
to
probably
like
would
stay
have,
sane,
Nick.
that was my thing. Like I needed to travel. I needed to get away on the weekends. If I didn't have to do anything on Friday and I could block it off, like I left. Like I needed, that was my outlet, and that was what I needed to still stay sane. You know,
Believe me,
and so
yeah, no,
within reason, right?
no, I wanted to go. I wanted to go, but my family was like,
I
nah,
know.
you need to go.
You still want to finish too.
You want to finish. You want to
Yeah.
finish.
Another tip that I learned on internship, you know, we all have that long to-do list. I also had a to-done list. It's so important to kind of just scratch off like things that you finished. It
That's a
feels
good
good,
point.
y'all. Like
Good
it may
point.
be something small, but like really scratching off like, oh, I finished this report, or I finished this, organizing my next assessment stuff. It feels good. So a to-done list is so important, not just on internship, but
I like
work
that.
life, y'all.
I like that a lot.
I
Yes.
love that idea.
Yeah. I like that.
Right. Now, this is another awesome question. What applications?
Cliffhanger.
Do you guys, I was
Okay.
breaking up?
Can you repeat it? You broke up.
Okay, sorry, y'all. What experiences do you recommend getting to boost internship applications?
Yeah. I can take a lead on this one, and then we can all chime in if we want. So I just went through that process. I went through the APIC process this past academic year, and it was quite stressful. I did start preparing my applications over the summer. I will say like my program was pretty good about starting us in June when it came to just looking at sites, kind of making a spreadsheet, things like that. We were on a timeline. So being organized in your search for internship sites is really important. But to boost your internship applications, there are a few things that I learned. So I learned that having clinical experience is obviously really important because a lot of the internship sites have more of a clinical focus. But also being well-rounded is just as important. So I had some consulting experience, clinical experience, had some experience doing intervention as well. So being really well-rounded and also having worked with diverse populations is something that they are really interested in. Like, how are you able to work with different types of groups of people? I would also say having a variety of testing experience is also important. And if you don't, really highlighting the fact that you understand the fundamentals of testing. And so having that foundation of testing can really, you can kind of hype yourself up, like I'm willing to learn, I understand the basics, etc. And I would also say have some trustworthy letter writers. Make sure that whoever's writing your letter has you in your best interest. I know that folks can say that goes without being said, but that's not always the case. So you really want to make sure who's writing your letter again, like I said, has you in their best interest, and they're saying really great positive things about you. Even when they say, what's something they can work on? Even they got to say that that's still a strength too. Like they really got to be hyping you up. So be on the lookout, be intentional about choosing your letter writers. I had a list, so I was trying to make sure. And I will also say, be yourself in your application. Be yourself in your application. Everyone's turning in the same thing. You want to stand apart. So really figure out how to allow your personality to show through your cover letters, through your diversity statements, through your theoretical framework. You know, allow those things to really shine and people to read that and be able to recognize, like, okay, I know what type of work she likes to do, or I know what she's passionate about. So, yeah.
That's good.
I love that. I love that. I would say also, in addition to that, being involved. Also, it doesn't always have to be in your program or organizations on campus, but they want to know, like, what do you do outside of school, right? So, like, are you involved in a community? What are you passionate about, so that they can see, okay, this person has a life outside of, grad school, right? And also, it depends too on the sites that you're applying to, because some sites are, like Krista said, they're very clinical focused. Some are assessment heavy. Some are more counseling focused, right? So really wanting to know that your CV, your essays, they align to what they're looking for. But also, while you're applying, research those places you want to go to, because many times they will, when you get to that space of interview, they're going to see that, did this person really research us? Because that question was on the website. So go stalk them if you have to. Go on their website. If they have a Facebook page, see what they're doing, see the school sites that are there, because they will see also, like, this person, based off your language in your application, your essays, that, okay, this person really aligns with us.
Yeah, and internship applications are not cheap. So
No.
you definitely want to be intentional. If you're going through the APIC process, they're not cheap. So you want to be intentional about where you're spending your time, like creating a application package as well.
Yes.
So you want to make sure it's like, there were some that I had and I was like, I don't know, it felt like a stretch. And at the end of that, I did not apply, because I'm like, I know I would do better with something I feel genuinely connected to. And so really, again, like being true to yourself and what type of experience you want.
Yes. Which aligns with a question that we had that says, what practicum and internship do programs value? So from that internship site setting, and also for grad programs, again, you have to research the sites or programs that you're interested in to know, okay, my practicum experience, because every program kind of have that set practicum experiences you'll do, but you'll also have the opportunity to do some elective ones. But really, again, researching, okay, is this site or program something that will be beneficial or in alignment with what I want to do or have already experienced?
I'm taking notes.
Yes.
Notes.
Dr. Malone said something powerful here in the comments. She said, start compiling your list of potential districts early. The key word there is early, y'all. Early. Yes. It's amazing. Yes. That's important. No, but this is good. Are you guys getting something out of this? Like, I want to know, are you guys getting something out of this live? Is it
I am too.
beneficial?
I'm a first year. I'm a first year. I'm a first. This is knowledge. I'm learning from all three of you
Listen,
ladies. I'm learning. I'm
I'm
writing
learning
notes
from
down.
y'all, and I'm like, I'm done with internship, but I was like, man, this is some good stuff.
And the
Okay,
comments
I
are
see Carlita
amazing.
with the notes emoji. I
Taking
see
them,
some
I
hearts
said,
coming
light it
up.
up with the note taking. Light it up with the
Listen,
note
yes.
taking. This is great.
Okay, awesome. I love that. Y'all ready for the next question? Anybody want to add to that question?
3 pages of notes. Wow.
3 pages of notes. Whew, I love it.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I see my friend Marissa. Yeah, she started her internship in August. Congratulations, Marissa. Starting in August.
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that, this community is so important. So, I'm just really glad that we're able to share this space with all of
Yes.
you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Dr. Malone also says, also prepare a about you packet for your letter
Yeah.
writers. Oh, that's good. I didn't
I
do
did
that.
that. Yeah.
That is good. That is good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right now. This is powerful. All right, we're gonna go on to the next question. This is actually our last question here. Not a grad student yet, but tips on creating a phenomenal app to get into grad school.
Yeah. I'll take the lead. I think we just kind of answered it in our last
Yeah.
question. I think literally all the points you guys made are my notes. That like knowing your purpose, right? Knowing your why, being authentic in your application and your purpose statement. I think is important. Researching. Yes, I think I think we're all in agreement here that researching the schools that you're applying to are super, 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 super important. And be ready for your interview too. Be ready for your interview to relax and to have fun with it, right? Like show your personality, right? Like Krista said, everyone's kind of applying. They have other choices to go through. What makes you stand out when you're applying, and what also I think is important to kind of bring some insight in what you want or what you can offer to the field of school psychology to that program. Like, why would you be a good fit for them, right? And to ask questions. I think it's as any interview 101 will tell you, like you got to ask questions. You have to seem like you're interested. Be curious about the programs that you're applying to, and yeah. So yeah, I would say all those are kind of answered.
Yeah. So I will share really quickly. I found my program's PhD school psychology admissions rating form. So I'll share that because I think that might be helpful. And obviously, this is just one university, but I think it does speak a little generally to what a lot of programs might be looking at. So use this as a skeleton, but not as your like end all be all, obviously. But I see on here, so your academic achievement is what they look at, your scholarly research experience. So if you have ranging from like no research experience to if you've been in database publications, that's like a really like high, I guess, rating scale. Experience working with children, so like your applied experience. Do you have extensive experience working with children? And do you also have like have you also had leadership roles and responsibilities working with children? Like I touched on earlier, the quality of your recommendations. Who is writing them, but also how specific are they? Are they more general or are they really speaking to you? So like Dr. Malone said, create an about me so that your letter writers can and will talk about you. It's not because a lot of letter writers, we use templates, right? But you want it to be more specific towards you, and it comes off like that person really knows you and really wants to make you shine in their letter. Let's see, the next one was, so your skill or your commitment or experience working with diverse populations, and your leadership experience. So have you had a lot of key roles in leadership or have you not had any? And then lastly, they have your fit with the program. So you definitely want to make sure that your goals align with either the faculty you're applying to work with or the program focus. And is there a clear scientist practitioner vision with that school, within you as a applicant? So look into those things. Also, you can email me, Krista@bpsninc.com, and I will send this to you because it is free information, and I love like helping the community. But those things I think you can get experience in, not just, you don't have to be in a school. You can do a lot of different things to gain a myriad of those experiences, okay?
Yes. I love that. I love that. Carlito said you can link your past experiences to the skills that make a great school psychologist. Yes, that is so important too, is that maybe you came from another career path or you majored in something different. Talk about how that can align to you being a great school psychologist. And another thing I wanted to include, and we kind of, which is, something that we should all have, but not many people do, is that you can be the greatest assessment implementer. You can do a great report writer, but you want to make sure that you are a very personable person. Like, can people work with you? You know, will children feel safe
Important.
enough around you, right?
Right.
Because, you know, we are working with children, but we're also working with parents. We're working with teachers. We're working with administrators. So we want to be able to feel like towards other people, like, okay, they're very personable. Or even when you're going into a grad program, your application can be the best, but when they see you in person or interview you, they may feel like this might not be a best fit because the personality is not the same, right? Or they're not very personable, or are you really kind? Because you can you can teach the skills, you can teach the assessments, you can teach people how to report right, but you can't teach people how to be nice and to be kind, right? So you want to make sure if you're coming into school psych that you are, like Dr. Wood said, is that it's a people's business. You know, you working with children all the time. You want to be able to know that you like working with kids, y'all.
Yeah, like do you like kids? Do you like
Yeah, do
kids?
you
If you don't
like
like
kids?
kids,
Ask that question.
But will kids like you? Because it's not only do you like kids, will these kids
Right.
like you
Do
too?
they like you? Will they run from you? Or will they
Good
support
point.
you? Right?
There was one last thing I wanted to add. So I graduated from Hampton University in 2015 and did not start my program until 2017. Within those 2 years, I was getting some of that research experience and all those other experiences that made me a more marketable candidate. So I did do the PrEP program, which is Post-Bac Research Education Program. And it is for students of color who are no more than 2 years postgraduate of their bachelor's degree, in which I got a year's worth of research experience at the University of Massachusetts, and they paid me. So, I mean, there are also post-bac opportunities that you can engage in that can also make you a more marketable candidate. Don't feel like you have to just go straight into graduate school as well.
Yes. I'm glad that you said that, Krista, because I didn't go into school psych, my program immediately after undergrad, right? Because Dr. McClure said this in our last live, you know, I was playing around in undergrad. I was having fun, right? So I had to get a couple of degrees first, you know, because I felt like I wasn't competitive enough into the program. But again, I ended up right where I needed to be, y'all. Like, I finished and I met a lot of great people along the line. So don't feel pressured to feel like you have to rush into a program if you still feel like you're not fully ready.
Yeah.
I love this. This was awesome. Do anybody have anything to say? We're kind of wrapping up right now, y'all. But I don't want to get off, but I know everybody got things to do. It's the weekend, you know? So
I don't want to get off either.
Right. I don't know if our guests, you know, can we give it up for our guests? Like Nick and Deshauna is out here just doing some great things.
Yes. And Deshauna, please drop the org in the chat, please, and tell them one more time where they can get in contact, connect, all that.
Absolutely. So I definitely drop our Instagram down. So it's like d.b.e.s.p. The best, and then also at thebest.org. So I make sure I drop that in the comments. Feel free